Hello everyone, I'm Chipcao, my real name is Ricardo Neves, I'm from Portugal, and I'm here to teach you how to build a product feature comparison system using Django. So in this case we will be comparing smartphones, but either way you can take this as an example to build whatever product you want. As I said, we will use Django. For database, we'll use SQLite 3. I don't recommend this for production environments, but for sake of this tutorial, it's totally fine. And of course, Python 3, but it's Python, so not a big deal. For the front end, we will use Bootstrap 3, JQuery, HTML5 and CSS3, like the plain old stack. Not much there as well. So this is not an advanced tutorial. This is a tutorial that will teach you how to work with Django, maybe a bit with Python, and how to install and how to use some Python or some Django apps or modules. We will also build a Restful API to return our smartphones list, and we will also use Django Admin to build our back office. So this will be, Django Admin is used for maintainers of the website to update and create new resources, in this case smartphones. So requirements. You may be thinking, oh, this is too much. I never worked with a framework before. This will be too complicated. It won't. A framework is there just to make your way faster and easier. So you just need to know a bit about the framework and you'll be ready to start using it. So in this tutorial, the requirements are just know how to what are JavaScript and know like the basis of it. HTTP knowledge, like it's just a bit, not very much. We will use only HTTP gets, but it's important that you know what are HTTP requests. CSS and HTML, it's the basic as well. I'm not a pro there, so just know the basics. And Python. If you know a bit of Python, if you know a bit of, I don't know, Java, C++, C#, even JavaScript, you will understand what I'm doing. In this project will be divided in 4 sessions, where session 1 will be a quick one. I will introduce you to Django framework and do a quick overview of it and show you. You already have some idea, but show you a more detailed list of requirements for this product, and in the end you should have an hello world with Django. After that, session 2, we will configure Django Admin. Remember, this is a package provided by Django or an app, so we just need to configure and we need to check how the models will be like. So we will investigate that and we will create the models. And that's basically it. In the end, you should be able to see your models created in Django Admin, and you'll be able to create them as well. Okay, having your models, having everything inserted on database, we come to session 3, and we will use Django REST framework, which is a Django app or module. And we will build a RESTful API with this. Basically, we will create a RESTful API to return all the smartphones that we want or retrieve a smartphone by ID. That's basically what we are doing here. And in the end, you'll have your API where you can filter or search for smartphone ID, or get all smartphones at once. Session 4, design the front end. For this, we'll be using Django templating system. We will use some logic on side of template, of course, with for loops and if and else. And we will use also, as I said previously, jQuery, CSS, HTML, and that's it. And we'll also use our RESTful API that we created in the last session, in session 3, for getting the information for a given smartphone. So that's all I got right now. This is I hope that you enjoy this, and if you think that I'm being too slow, just skip some parts and keep your way and see how this product is built. This is not meant to be beautiful because I'm not a front-end developer, and as you see by my technologies, but this is meant to be functional, and it will be. So I hope you enjoy. You can start now in session 1, and just if you have it all installed, just skip to session 2 and let's go. So I hope everyone in here enjoys, and see you in session 1. Goodbye. Hello everyone. My name is Chipcow, as you see here, and my real name is Ricardo Neves. I am from Portugal, and I am 27 years old. I made some projects here on education ecosystem, and you can see them here. But now let's see the new project that I just created, and I want to show you how I did it. So let's see. The project is named How to Build a Product Feature Comparison System Project using Django. So, okay, that might seem a little bit extensive, but what it means is that we are going to make a web application that supports comparing different products features. For example, in this project we made a comparison site using Django and for comparing smartphones. You can see, like, if you go to this website, it does something that we want to do. So phone arena, compare. So they have, I think this is what we want. No, it's not. Smartphone comparison. I think it was from Phone Arena, but I'm not sure. GSM Arena, sorry. And now here we have something that where we can look like for a smartphone, like iPhone SE, and I want to compare it with, I don't know, Nokia or Xiaomi Pocophone F1. And here I get everything that I need, every characteristics of each phone, every feature, and it will help me to make a more informed choice when buying a smartphone. So we will build something that is similar to this. I wouldn't say it is as complete as this site is, because this is a real site that takes a long time to develop, but I will teach you the basis for building something like this. Yeah, so that's it. So we are using Django. So for you that don't know Django, they say that Django makes it easier to build better web applications more quickly and with less code. So what is important to note here is that Django uses Python, and it is a high-level web framework. So this means that with high level, it means that it has lots of features and functionality built in. So you don't need to build everything from beginning. So, for example, they are reassuring that it is secure. So you can use their implementation of security, and you don't need to implement by yourself, which is completely wrong in case of security. So another thing that it's very good on Django and that I really like, apart from being a Python based framework, is that you can have several modules that you can import, and you can just use them. They are pre-built with some kind of feature, so you can use them as you wish. It's something like Spring Boot, where you import some starter, or you import a package on npm for Node.js. There's something like that, but here in Django it is also possible to do that, which I really appreciate. Okay, so let's go and see the sessions and everything that we will do. Let me refresh the page. Okay. So, what do you need to know? You don't need to know much for this. We are using Django. We are using Python. And after that, we will just use jQuery, Bootstrap for frontend, HTML5, CSS3. Nothing much going on here. I don't want to focus on frontend because that's not my place. But yeah, we'll use those technologies. Those are not like recent or breakthrough stuff, but it will get the job done for what we want. And then for the backend, we'll use Django, as I said, Python, and SQL3. When you see SQLite 3, you don't need to know almost anything about SQL. Why? Because Django has a module that interacts directly with SQL, and you don't need to write any SQL code in this tutorial, of course. If you want to use more complex stuff, yeah, you might need to write it, but right now you don't need. So don't worry about SQL. Those are the requirements. And then we are on session 1. So we'll make a quick introduction, or we made a quick introduction to Django framework and the requirements, how this is going to be developed. And in the end, you should have your environment set up. You should have Python, Django, and installed, and a sample hello world from Django. After you have that, we will configure something called Django Admin, and we will create the models. So with Django Admin, it's a module, we can say, for Django that will help you. It will work as a back office for your website. Let me search it a bit so you can see what it is. But it will create a back office for your website, and in our case, it will be protected with credentials, and basically the manager of our site, of our smartphone comparator, will be able to create smartphones from scratch and create all that information, upload pictures so you can see them on the normal website per se. Yeah. Yeah. One of the most powerful parts of Django is the automatic admin interface. So yeah, this is completely out of the box. You just need to configure your models and it will work like that. So yeah, we'll take a look at that and create the models. Like it will be a model, it will be a smartphone model that will contain several more models. But yeah, let's go to that in the in session 2. Session 3. So there are two ways of developing the front end. There are two major ways. You can have controllers for everything, and you can use the Django Mustache template engine to generate everything. But I think that I don't like when I see something like this. When you search and the entire page refreshes. I don't like this, to be honest. And our website won't be beautiful, but I don't like this. So my idea was, okay, let's use Django, but let's build RESTful API, and we will use for that the Django REST framework. And what we will do is that RESTful API will expose our smartphones, and we can access, like, get a list of every smartphone or get a singular smartphone, like lookup by ID. When you do that, we can make an AJAX call and do everything asynchronously on the front end using AJAX and AJAX requests with jQuery. And with that, we can make the action of getting another smartphone, like this action. Let me search for Candy. This action to be a lot more smooth. We can just refresh this frame, this div or this part of the website instead of everything. And when we have that ready, okay, this will just build the RESTful API. After we have the RESTful API done, we can develop front end using HTML5, Bootstrap, CSS3, jQuery, and JavaScript. Yeah, because we have jQuery. Yeah, that's basically it. In the end, we'll have a final product. It won't be complete. It won't be production ready, but that's not the point in this tutorial. That's the point, is to create a I wouldn't say a production ready, like I said, but something that works, and something that if you want to build another or some product that is similar to this, you have the basis to do that. You have the base knowledge to do that. So let's go. Let's start building this. So, okay, first of all, let's create a folder. It will be edu smartphone comparator. Let's go there. And now what we'll need to do is that check if you have Python installed. Python version. And I recommend to have Python 3 installed. If you have 2.7, I'm not sure if it will work with most recent version of Django. Please install Python 3. In this case, I have 3.6.1, but install Python 3. So you can use pip to install Python, and it's really simple to install. Python. If you are on Mac like me, you can use Brew. If you are on Windows, you can just download the executable. you just need to install it. It's not that difficult, and if you are a software developer, you will know how to install it. If you are on Linux, you are lucky because it will ship. Almost every Linux distribution will ship with Python. So after having Python installed, you need to check if you have Django. So you can do something like this, and it probably will say this: no module named Django. So what we need to do, you need just to run this command. As simple as that. If you are on Linux or Mac OS, if you are on Windows, you can run this as well. I highly recommend the tutorials that Django project website has, and the documentation as well. So you just run this. If you want to install in Python 3, just add 3 here and go ahead and install it. After that, I've already have it, so I won't install it, but you should have something like this. It will say, okay, your Django version is 3.05, or another one if you are in another if a new version is released. Okay, so now we want to create the project, right? And if you see, we don't have anything here, so let's create the project. So you can use a command called Django Admin. Okay, I've already have a autocomplete here, but Django Admin, start project, and after that you will give a name to your project. We can give a name like smartphone comparator. You'll see that this is an invalid name because it cannot have a dash. So smartphone comparator. Let's type like this. Okay, it just created the project for you. You can see we have a smartphone comparator folder, and now you have a manage.py and another folder with same name. And if you go there, you have urls.py, settings.py, and another .py files. Okay. So first of all, again, you should check the documentation, and I have no problems in showing it. So it will make it easy to explain it to you. And okay, so we just created the project, right? And you can see that we have a manage.py. And as you can see here, it is a command line utility that lets you interact with Django project in various ways. You'll see how we can use this manage.py. Those files are really not important. The settings file is important. It just lets you adjust the settings of your project. The URLs file is like to create your routes. Let's see what we have in our URLs file. So you can see that it already has an admin path. So in the URL file, you can basically create routes that might route you to another app, and that's how I want to get there, but it can route you to another place. It can redirect your request to another place. So I mentioned another app. So those are just web servers files that we won't use, but the most important now files that we want to explore is settings.py and urls.py, and those names are really explicit and just tell you what they are. So let's now do Python. We should create a virtual environment for this, because it's always a good practice to have like a virtual environment. So here, virtual environment. So this command, so you might need to install this as well. So it's with PIP as well. So you can do this simply as that. And that's really important what this does, and it's important for you to understand. So when you install packages on Python, like we did, like when we did this Python 3, like the command to install Django, it installed Django globally on your machine. So wherever you are, you will have Django installed. Imagine that you want to use a version of Django 2.0 and you have 3.6 installed. What can you do? You need to like remove the 3.6 and install 2.0 and use the project for 2.0, and then you need again 3.6, you need to install it again. So that's a pain in the ass. Don't just, if you think that you are going to use different versions, just create a virtual environment. So for Django, we just install Django globally, but all our dependencies will use a virtual environment. And this allows that when you are inside your project and you activate your virtual environment, you have only the dependencies that you installed for that project. So let's go back. Okay, so virtual environment, and this is the name of your virtual environment, venv. So okay, it is creating a new environment, and let's wait a bit. Okay, and you have a new folder. Okay, that's a lot of stuff, but you have lots of stuff and it just doesn't matter for us. What matters is that we need to activate our virtual environment. So source virtual environment /bin/activate, and it's done. Every time you need to, you close the terminal and open it again, you need to activate the virtual environment again with this command. If you forget, nothing wrong will happen. Probably you won't have all dependencies that you need, and it will throw an error, and you will remember, oh, virtual environment, I need to activate it. Okay, now we have our virtual environment installed. Let us see if you have Django. We don't. Okay, because we are in a new environment and we don't have Django installed. So I'll just go ahead and install Django for you. So I have a link for here to how to install Django. It's right here. So you can just go with me and I'll just run this and I'll install Django. You actually can create the virtual environment first and then install Django and then create the project. You can do that as well. But But now we are installing Django. So now if you go this, oh, we have Django. Awesome. Okay, so we have Django installed on our virtual environment, and we have a project. So you can run the project. Let's see the Python version that we have. 3.6. Okay, so I can run this with Python manage. Wait, I'm in the wrong folder. And now Python manage.py run server. Okay. We need to first migrate this, and you might see I was not expecting that, and it should have run, but okay, the port is already in use. Of course, I had already something running on this port, but it says that this, and we will catch this later, but let's just ignore this, and for now, and just we'll deal with it, database after that. So let's see what we have here. The install worked successfully. Congratulations. You are seeing this page because the bug is true in your settings file and you have not configured any URLs. Fair enough. So if you see this, you know that Django is working. If you are having trouble getting your Django running, remember that you have, you can check this URL and it will guide you on what you should do. If you have any questions about this, just post a comment on the video and I'll try to help you as much as I can, so you can have everything running on your local machine. What we can do now is that, okay, we have our project running and we have a web page, but we haven't done that much. So let's go ahead, and as I said, Django is made out of apps. You can have a Django project called smartphone comparator, and inside that project have like some create apps that you want. So that's a way of making your project modular. So imagine that we want to create like an app inside this. Actually, that's what we want to do, to create an app, to make like an app called comparator, which will comparate everything. But imagine that we want to write another feature, like it's, okay, the project should be like, imagine that the name or the scope of this project was like smartphones. And then you can have like an app called comparator. You can have an app called reviews, an app called, I don't know, break tests, and you can have 3 apps inside one project, and that makes your project modular. If you want to create another project and just use the app that you've just created, you can just port that app to the other project with no effort at all and reuse your code. And that's why they say they are a fast development framework, because of this modularity. So why don't we go ahead and in this case they are creating a pulse. We can create another app called comparator. So as you see, it's Python manage.py start app comparator. Okay, let's go. Let's see what happened. Oh, now we have another folder called comparator. Yeah, seems fine, right? Okay, so if you open up and enter this folder, you can see that you have a models.py, a views.py, and an apps.py, a tests.py, and a migrations folder, and this file, which don't worry about now. So let's worry about apps.py, and it should be where you define everything that you need, like your app name, but we won't use this as much. Then we have the models, which are important. You'll define all your models or all your data structure inside this file. Then you have tests. Unfortunately, we won't run any unit tests for this or integration tests. That's not on the scope of this project, and we won't use this file. And we have the views. The views are like they transform your data into something that user can see, and usually they return usually not, they return an HTTP response, which can have like embedded HTML or just plain text. But yeah, that's it. So let's view the views. Just says create your views here. Not that much. Okay, no problem. So now something that we might do is if we go to our, actually let's open up and just to finish this, what? Okay. All right. Okay, so let's open up this in Sublime Text to make it easier to edit. You can use everything that you want. I'm using Sublime right now. I might use IntelliJ in the future, in future sessions, to have autocomplete, but that's up to you. You can use everything or what you are more familiar with. So there are, you might see that you have URLs here. This is your project level and this is your app level, okay? Project, smartphone comparator, and app comparator. And you have an URL that goes to admin. Let's forget about this for now. And then we might have, okay, I want to access my app, right? So I might say, okay, I want to create a new route called comparator, right? And then I want to redirect my app, but I don't know how to do it. So you can create another URLs file inside your app. So urls.py, and if you see that, you can, like, if you see here, let me just do something that will make it easier. So this will help you understand. These are the URLs that you have on your application. And you see that you create an empty URL that goes to the views.index, and it just have a name called index. And if you go more up, you can see that you have a views here. And just for the sake of tests, and to demonstrate to you what we are doing here, let's just define a function called index that will build an object called HTTP response and say, hello world, this is what? A sheep cow tutorial. Okay. Now you know that this, when you receive an empty path, it will route you to this view. But remember that you have 3 levels of hierarchy. You have your app, but on top of the app you have the project. So we need to redirect to our app in the project. So here you can say this. You are basically say, okay, this is not pulse, this is comparator, and we need to import the include. What this means? Okay, if my project receives a comparator route, it will know that now everything that goes after that, it is responsibility of the comparator app. And it says, okay, if you receive something called comparator, you'll just go for the app. And okay, now we go to URLs and it says, okay, if this is comparator slash nothing, you will show the index page. And that index page will be on the views, which is a view called index. So let's see now and run the application again. Let me see if I have this, manage.py, run server. Okay. Let's see, maybe we imported something wrong. Comparator.urls. So this is fine. That's the bad thing of not having an IDE. So these URLs are good. Django URLs import. Yeah. So the view should be good. Module. Because those errors, if you see, are not that's something that I miss. They are not self-explanatory. But yeah, in this case I'm missing a colon. But you can see that those errors are not really good. Let's see now. Okay, let's go. And now let's go, remember, comparator. So /comparator. Hello world, this is a sheep cow tutorial. But if I say, that doesn't exist. Why? Imagine that now you want to add like comparator slash something. You can say this. And now, instead of showing the index, you want to show the something. This is something. So, something. And now, something. Wait, something. So you create a function called something that returns this response. If you register its route. So now, if you can see, it will refresh automatically. If you do slash something, ta-da! Hello world, this is a sheep cow tutorial. Actually, you have to create something here because the first rule will have priority, like, I don't know, index. If you do this, now it will... What? Wait. Okay, I should have made something wrong, but I'm not sure what I did wrong. That's weird. That's really weird. Let me put letter a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. So, this is something, and now maybe that rule wasn't true. Sorry. So let's see. Something, and now tutorial. Okay. Where it should be true is here. It doesn't accept, rejects. Yeah, but you can see the idea. So everything that is slash comparate will be redirected to this app. If it has nothing, it will go to this index. If it has something, it will go to the other one. Yeah, that's it. So I just wanted to show this idea and how it worked. So yeah, so for now you should have everything working like I have. Session 1 is complete for now, and wait here and just go to session 2 and you will learn a bit about Django Admin and how to use it as back office to create the smartphone models that are needed to save all the data on SQL database. So just stay here and don't forget that you are learning, and just have patience because everything will turn out well. So let's go and let's end session 1. It was really good to make this session, and I'll see you in session 2. Bye bye. Hello everyone. Welcome to session 2. I'm your host, Sheep Cow, as known as Ricardo Neves. And if you saw session 1, you learned a bit, or if you didn't know, you learned a bit about Django, what Django is, and about what are the requirements for the project that we are developing. And you know right now how to set up your environment and have a sample hello world in Django. So let's see what we are doing in session 2. So we will configure Django Admin, which will be actually in the end, but we will use Django Admin for our back office. But before that, we need to create models that are needed to save a smartphone data. So let's go. first of all, I want to tell you something that we missed on previous on session 1. And that, my friends, is that we created a new app, but we forgot to add it to the installed apps. So we need to do that right now. And as you know, our app is called Comparator. So it just add comparator.apps.comparator config. Why is that? So when you create an app, you have to register that on the application. That's why the application is modular, or Django is modular. And why it's this path? It's easy. Comparator, apps, comparator config, done. Now, there's something important that you might want to do, and that is create a requirements.txt. Let's go ahead. Ments.txt. Awesome. Why do we need requirements.txt? Because first of all, we don't need it, but is always a good practice to have. It has like the dependencies for your project, and it might be good for someone who starts your project from the GitHub repository or something like that. He doesn't know, or she doesn't know what are the dependencies that are needed. So the most common steps is create a virtual environment and then install the requirements that are on this file. You can do this through pip or pip, and it'll just do pip install -r requirements.txt, and it will just install them automatically. So for now, we need Django version 3.0.5. Is it the version that we have? Python Django version? I'm not sure if that's, I don't know. Let me see. Check Django version. Yeah, this is me. No, yeah, that's this short way. We always want the short way. So let's see. Oh, you know why? You know why, right? Activator 308. Okay, so let's do this. 308, clear, and just go again inside. And now we have our requirements.txt, and if we keep adding dependencies, we will add to this file. Okay, so why don't we start by creating models? And let's go to this website here. Phone comparison. That's my inspiration for this project. And okay, if we go here, you see that the phone has bazillion things. From the body, the screen, the type of the screen, the resolution, the platform, like the operating system, CPU, GPU, the internal memory, the RAM memory, the selfie camera, the main camera, the sound, the comms, like the connectivity, the battery. a bunch of stuff, the price. So let's simplify for now. Let's create a simple smartphone model, okay? Let's create a smartphone that has like a name, a price, and just that. And we can go from there. So, how to create models? So, let's start from the beginning. Models are just ways to define your data, right? And one important thing to note is that if I try to run my server, okay, so what did I do? I wrote something somewhere that I'm not aware. Where? What? Where is this? Because this Django should not be there. What? This is part of the development. I barely touched the project and now it is not working. Comparator.apps is not a package. What? Oh, yeah. Missing a colon, sorry. Alright, so if we run, you might see that this big red warning comes out saying that I have 17 unapplied migrations. What is that? Your project may not work properly until you apply the migrations for the app or apps, and they mention some like 4 apps: admin, auth, content types, and sessions. What the heck is that? Those. And this means that those apps use database in some way and have models that are not created in any database because we didn't migrate them. And you might say, database, but we have to configure database. We don't, because Django is already configured with SQLite 3 or Lit. This is not good for production, but or to deal with a huge amount of requests, but for sake of this tutorial, it's completely fine. So it is working out of the box, and we need to migrate those. But before that, remember the URLs that we had? There is an admin URL. What happens if we try to access it? So localhost 8000 admin. See, no such stable Django session. So yeah, it just means that, okay man, I want to show you this page, but I don't have the data. I don't have the data that I need. So let's do it. Let's just migrate. Do you want to migrate? You cannot want or not. You need to do it. Migrate. Okay, it migrated a bunch of stuff. You can see that it made for auth, for admin, for the other apps. Now, if I run again, that warning just went away. And now we have the Django admin. Let's not go inside so fast. We need to create a user and a password. This is auto-completed because I've already created in another project and the URL is the same. and Chrome saves it, but no, we need to create the user, which we won't do right now. Right now we want to create models, and models essentially define your database layout with which can have additional metadata or not, and we can create our models in a models.py class file, and you can create a class. So all classes, each model class is represented by a class that subclasses django.db.models.model, and each model can have a number of class variables, each of which can represent a database field in the model. So you might be wondering, but in SQL Server there's a certain type of variable, and in SQLite there's another, and in PostgreSQL there's another different. How can I do it? Do I have to know them all? No. What is important here is that those are the data types that you have. I can zoom in a bit, but I think you can see. You have binaries, booleans, nulls, date field, and imagine that you want to create a date field. You just declare a date field, and Django will do the work to convert this date field to a field compatible, for example, with SQLite 3 or MySQL or anything else. So you don't need to have to worry about that. It supports those databases. Okay, so smartphone, we want the name and the price. So we can just use, for the price, we can use, let's see, a float field maybe. Yeah, a float field. And for the name we can use, where is it? A text field. So let's go and start creating the model. So we can call our model smartphone, why not? And it inherits from models.model, and since this is not a complete naming, I can add from django.db import models, and that's done. I think we can ignore these errors for now. And okay, we have the model, and now we have the name, right? Name, which is models dot char field, and here you have to define a mandatory argument, which is the max length, which we will say it's 50. And what are those warnings? Type one in the word smartphone. Okay. And then we have the price. Let's make it euros because I'm in Europe, but whatever. And it will be a float field. We don't need to declare the max length. Okay. We have the class smartphone. Let's see if everything runs. Okay, it doesn't. Has no attribute char field. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, we have it. It's created. Now, we created the model. Now what? Now we need to activate the model, make it available on database, right? So, and we need to do 2 steps for this. First, we need to let Django include our app, which is a comparator app, into the database. So you can run Python, and you just have to run it once, manage.py, make manage.py, make migrations, and your app name, which is comparator. All right, okay. So, okay, I need to create a model called smartphone. By running the make migrations, you're telling Django that you have made some changes to your models. In this case, we just created new ones, and you would like to create your models and store them as migration. So if you see, you have a migration here, and this represents, and this will change depending on the database that you are using. Since we are using SQLite, it will just create this. Actually, this is not related with database. I'm misinforming you. This is just a migration file that tells what is needed to create on database. After that, you might do something like Python manage and see if everything is good. And now, yes, SQL migrate comparator, which is the app name, and migration 0001. That's our migration. So do it. Now you can see this means this is SQLite 3. So this means, okay, create that table, okay? The name is like comparator, which is the app name, underscore the class, our model name. You can see that it was created also an ID, which is just mandatory for this kind of tables or for any relational database. And now our name and our price. Just notice that the name was a char field, but now it is a varchar 50, and it cannot be null. And the price in euros, which was a float, is now a real, and it cannot be null as well. So, and in the end, we can run, okay, yes, this is what I want to run. So migrate. And it says, okay, I've done that. So now we can play a bit with this, and let's see. There is another argument that you can pass to manage, which is the shell. And this is an interactive console, as you can see, and you can play with it. So we can import those models. So this model from comparator dot models import smartphone. Okay, and now we can list all smartphones. Smartphone dot objects dot all. This will do a query on database, and it says, okay, I don't have nothing. Now we can go ahead and create a new. So smartphone is equal to smartphone, which will receive the name, and which will be, I like Xiaomi, so it will be my phone, Poco phone F1, and it will receive the price in euros, which will be, I don't know, 250 euros. Let's test the real one, .5. Okay, we created a new smartphone. but we didn't save. So s dot save. Done. So now you can see something that's s dot id. S dot price euros. Okay. Now, if we go back and get all smartphones, it says, okay, I have one smartphone. But you might say, what the heck? I don't know what. Imagine that I want to create another smartphone, which is the Pocophone F2, and it costs 350 euros. And you save. And you do s.id, it's 2. And now you get query all. Which one is which? You don't know. So there is something that you can, a method that you can implement that will help you to know what model are you querying. So we can implement that, and we can define here. It's the str method. In Java, it's the toString. And it receives the self, and now we can return, okay, for example, the name, and by the name you know you know that what smartphone it is, right? Or you can just name plus space plus, why not? Let's see. Let's exit. Let's create a smartphone, which will be Pocophone F1. I have to import it first. I'm sorry. Let's go. And let's query all. Oh, yeah. This is a float. But see, it called the method. It called the method, but it gave an error. So let's go again and query all. We have to import it. Always the same problem. Let's go. Okay, and now let's query them. Chana! Okay, you know that first one is Pocophone F1 and second one is Pocophone F2. Awesome. This will also be useful in the admin interface, but we'll get there. As you can see, you can interact with the database without doing any SQL code, which might be good for, not for precision work, but for repetitive work that you might need to do and to enable just a fast development of your app. There are more to explore, but let's just stay here. And if you want to know more, just go to docs.djangoproject.com and just find tutorials there and documentation there. It's really complete and it's really informative, and it will help you for sure. Now, remember that I told you that we need let me run so you can see. What the heck? Run. So if we try to log in, we need a username. This probably won't work because there is no username. Let's create a username. So Python, it's always manage.py, create super user. Okay, what's username? Let's say it's admin. The email address is admin@admin.com, whatever. The password will be 123 123 123 123 123 123. Oh, it's too common. no problem. Okay, don't do this in production. Now if you run again, if we run again and type 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we are in. No, thank you. And you say a groups and a users. If you go to the users, you have an admin user. Here, from now on, you don't need to create the users from the command line interface. You can check here and just create another one. And this is not different from our models. This is also a model, the user. So you might be wondering, why is not the smartphone model appearing here? And I'll tell you why. We need to tell that we want to use it on admin interface. So if you go to admin, it say register your models here. So let's do it. admin.site.register, and now the model name, which is smartphone. Let's see if IntelliJ helps me here. Okay, it says no module found, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is IntelliJ not being completely configured. And we need to, of course, import admin. Let's see. No. Yeah, IntelliJ is not completely configured, but I know what to do. I know that this comes from Django.contrib import admin. No, that's not a problem. No, don't stay red for me. Okay, now if we refresh, nothing appears. Nothing appears. Why is that? Why is that? Because we are admin/auth. I was questioning myself. What? So if you go to change, you can see the smartphones that we have just created, which is awesome. And if you go and you want to create a new smartphone, you can do it. It's like iPhone 11 and the price is 100 euro. So you can save it. And now you have an iPhone that costs a kidney. Nothing against iPhones, guys. So this might be powerful, right? Think with me. If someone just this interface is gave to you, you don't have to do almost anything to have this. So we might want to create a more complete model, right? Yeah, this is a kind of boring. So I've already created that model for you, and I won't be creating it from the batch, like from the beginning, because it will be boring for you. So I'll copy and paste what I have, and you'll see what I did. Okay? So let's go to models. Let's erase this and paste what I have. So, and now let's just see what I did here. You can see that we have the smartphone here, which has a launch. Again, I just inspired in this, a launch, a body, display, platform, memory, main camera, selfie camera, connectivity, battery, and picture. Because yes, you need a picture. And this is more related with database. It says, okay, the launch is a data of type launch, which is another class, and this is a foreign key, which means that the smartphone table will have an ID that references the launch. And this on delete means that, okay, if I delete a smartphone and this launch object or table is not being used for any other table, delete it. So it's not there doing nothing. So we have a launch, a body, which is the same thing, display, platform, blah, 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 blah. And then here we have to do related name because those are the same model. So we are reusing the model that we have because the main camera and selfie camera uses the camera. We have a connectivity, battery, and finally a picture, which doesn't refer anything, and it's an image field. Let's see. Image field enforces and provides various utilities to handle files. Example, getting height and width. Works just like char field and specialized file field, defaulting to a max of 100 characters, and also enforce string that is a valid image. Note that this field requires presence of pillow Python library. So, okay, we might need another dependency. So we need pillow. So let's see what is the most recent version. Okay, this is a pillow. This was not a good search. So just looking for pillow PIP. And the most recent version is 2.2.1. So let's copy this. Let's add it to requirements. Okay. And now, where were we? We were on models. So we have the image field, as you saw, and so let's see the different fields that we are using. We are using the date field, so we have the date, right? The announced date. All those are char fields. Float field, as we saw, more float fields, and see that we are returning stuff that can identify the models. So here you refer the body, which refers the dimensions, which are defined here with just length, width, and height. Width actually is not well spelled. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Actually, we have two typos. Okay. But yeah, that's basically it. We have char fields, integer fields, boolean fields. That's it. That's not much more to say. So now, what we need to do to create all of this in your database? We need to it says that we are not have pillow. So let's install the requirements. Pip install requirements.txt. I'm just doing what you should do and to know how it should be done. So it's here. Let's see if we see the command. Yeah, let's write this. Okay, we might need to go back. Yeah. And it will install Django, which is already installed, and install Pillow. Just to see how this works, requirements.txt works. Okay, problem is solved. I have already installed. It was just taking too long, and the version was the wrong one. That's why we were having errors. So let's go ahead and migrate. And you say okay, it's trying to add a field called battery. This is just one case, but there are others. But we have already models, and it says, okay, it cannot be null because in models it cannot be null, but we already have models with null. So what we want to do? Just define a default, or which is option 1, and define a default now, or just quit and edit models. I won't do either of those, because we are in development and we don't want data, so we can remove the comparator / migrations. Yes, and then we can remove the database file, and that's it. So now we can do this again, and says, okay, I have new models. Those are the models, and I can just run Python manage.py migrate. Actually, let's go. I was just checking here. Okay, it is migrated, and we have another thing here and there. So now, if I manage.py run server and go to admin interface and log in. Oh, we deleted the database. We need to create another another user. Let's create the user for admin again. Python manage.py create super user, which is called admin, and password admin at admin.com, and the password is 123 123 123 123 123 123. Yes, and then run again and just go and try to log in. Okay, I have the wrong password. And now if I go here, we can see smartphones, and if we try to add, we can add smartphones. So, but we don't have those. That's because we forgot to register the other ones, the other models. So let's go ahead and just import them all. I just copy and paste everything that I want, and that will be a pain in the ass. What? No. Okay, so refresh. Yes, so let's create a smartphone. Let's do it. Let's go. It will not be fun, I guarantee you. So let's create a battery. Size will be 4000. Save. So we have a battery. Let's create a body. So it will weight, let's see here, 209 grams. The build is something like this, and SIM card is something like this, and SIM card is something, and dimensions we don't have, so let's go ahead and create dimensions. So yes, another one, and another one. If you want to skip this, just go ahead and do it. Cameras, let's go. Modules. Let's just copy and paste this. Which mobile phone is this? Note 9 Pro, okay. The modules, just one of those. The features and the video. Okay, never mind, save. So more. Cameras, connectivity. Create new one. WLAN, Bluetooth, GPS, NFC. I don't know why this NFC and infrared could be booleans, but I shouldn't have added so much properties, but in the end the product will look nice. Dimensions, they try always to put plural and just ends up like that. Dimensions, so dimensions we already have it. Displays, so we have a display type, which is this one. We have a size in inches, which is 6.67, and we have a resolution that we need to create. Height, this is the width, this is the height. Done. Save. We are almost there. Launch is already done. Memories, add the card slot. No, come on. And the internal. Of course, this could be improved by adding like a CSV file. Platform. Add platform. Operating system. Chipset. CPU. And GPU. Done. I'm already tired. Resolution. It's done. Smartphone. Let's create a new one. Launch. Oh, we missed the launch. Let's create it. So, announce the date. So, it was announced, whatever. Status. Available. Name. Xiaomi Note 9 Pro. The brand is Xiaomi. The model is this one, and the price is 232.98 on Amazon. Save. So the body, we know that this that we are seeing is the STR method. And now let's choose a picture. Let's actually download this picture. Save image as. Desktop, save, choose, desktop, it's right here, save. Done. We have a smartphone. But let's go and see that the image was uploaded here. Which is okay. We just might need to change that because we need to have a way to show this image, like to give this to the front end. But let's not worry about this. So let's end this session for now. It's just been too long. So as you saw, this is session 2. We configured Django Admin, we created models for everything, and we just end up creating a new smartphone, which you saw. So session 3 will create the RESTful API that will retrieve all created smartphones. And we'll also fix that thing about the image that we just saw, because we need to serve that on RESTful API. So it has been this for session 2. I hope you enjoy. as much as I did, and I'll see you in session 3. Hello everyone, I am Shipcow and I'm here with you for session 3 of the project How to Build a Product Feature Comparison System using Django. So as you know, we are building that comparator for smartphones, and we already did some interesting things on this project, and I hope you have already learned something. So let's jump to session 3, which is this one. And so in last session we created the models. As you've seen, it was really simple to do it. You just needed to create the classes and not much more, and all the magic was being done with Django to write those objects to the database. So now we are going to use those models and make them available through a RESTful API that will be returned to any client that is using our app. In this case, our front-end component of our app, which will be in session 4. But okay, let's stay right here in session 3. So, important notes. We will use Django REST API, Django REST framework, which is a package that you can install on Django and just use it. So this makes more simple to generate documentation as well. You will see how it works, but I hope you know what a RESTful API is, but if you don't know, I will just summarize it for you. It makes uses of HTTP verbs. As you know, there are 4 fundamental verbs: the HTTP GET, the POST, delete, and the PUT. Just summarizing, the GET is used to get information from the server to the client. The POST and the PUT are able to, or the POST is more to create resources on the server. The PUT is used to edit resources on the server, and the delete is to delete resources on the server as well. So there are more HTTP verbs like the options, the patch, which we won't talk right here. And just for the sake of simplicity, since this is not a tutorial on how to build RESTful APIs, and the tutorial is not a tutorial about HTTP, we will only use the get verb, because all the information is being created on the admin part, so we don't need to have endpoints or to have routes to update or to create or to delete, since we are doing everything on admin, on the admin part. So on Django Admin. So let's dive in. First of all, we need to install it. We can install those as well, but I think we are fine with this. So let's go to our project. But before that, we need to prepare something that we didn't on the last session. That is, in order to serve your file, your image, like this one, you need to make it public, right? So you need to configure something which is the media URL, which is on settings file. So here you may see that you have a static URL. We need to create another one called, this one is going to be used for CSS, JavaScript, and images. But I prefer to have the images because those images are shared for our Django admin. So I prefer to have those in a different in the different place. So let's go ahead and create media URL, which is another constant, and just type /media/ and then media root, and now this is related to our path. So operating system.path.join, and then just place your base dir, which is defined here. Yeah, it's the base dir for our project, and type your media here, and you're done. Now we need to create a route for this, and to create a route for this we need on urls .py here, we need to define possible routes for the images. So you have something called settings. You go to our settings file, sorry, lowercase settings dot, now we want media URL, and document underscore root, it's equal to settings dot our media root. I might need to import those. No. Let me see if he has an import here. We need to import it from Django.conf import settings, and from Django.conf.urls.static import static. I don't have the IntelliJ configured, but yeah, that's it. So now we know that we are providing a path for each image. Settings here. So now when you upload, okay, there's something that is missing in models. See these images. So this will, when we upload another image, it will create a directory called media, and inside media it will create a folder called images, and then inside of this it should upload the image. So let's see if that happens. So let's go to our admin. Okay, localhost 8000/admin. Okay, let's update this, and okay, this can be a chocolate bar. Save it. Okay, it's saved. See, media, images, bar. Okay, now we don't need that directory here, so we can delete it. Okay, this was an important part because you won't be able to serve your image. Be careful. This might not be suited for production use, so be careful with that. But bear that in mind as well. But yeah, okay, you have your image made exposed to everyone. Okay, now let's go and install Django REST framework. So you can go to your requirements and just Django REST framework. It's version 3.11.0, and now we can do pip install your requirements, and it should no, yeah, I think I forgot to, sorry. I forgot to go to our virtual environment, so I was installing those in the global. Okay, let's go if it goes okay. Okay, everything is installed. So we already installed we need to go to settings, and here just add this to our installed apps. It's rest_framework, and we are done. Great. So now let's explore this a bit. Okay, and you can see here they provide. Okay, this is like their installation. You need to add to installed apps, and if you want, you need to add this to your URL as well, API auth, if you want to use the browsable API, but don't worry about that. And then after that, what is important to note is that you need to have a serializer, and you need to have a view set. So what serializer does is it receives a model, or it converts a model to some other format. In our case, we will convert our model that is on database. We will convert it to JSON. So that's why serializer is there. After that, we have a view set, which does whatever you want, like retrieving all the objects, all the data, or just filtering by something, or just getting the first three, whatever you want. And then you just say, okay, for this object, use this serializer. This serializer, not this serializer. And in the end, you define a route. And your route will be something like this. Okay, it will be /users. And you will refer to your view set that will refer to your serializer. So you have everything connected. And that's it. And in the end, you just need to add this. You just need to add this to your routes, so it can be used, right? It is registered in your routes. So let's go. First of all, let's go to our URLs file, and let's create the router that we need. So from REST framework, not tests, what? REST, new keyboard, guys, sorry. From REST framework, import routers, done. And what we will do is that, okay, we need to create a router, of course, and this will work for everything. Router dot, and we can create default router. It will be enough for us. And now we need to register the route, so router.register, and it will receive. This is like a weird notation from Python, but you're saying that it will be /smartphones, and then you need to specify the view. We don't have already the view, so add view. Okay. So as you see here, we need to connect here to your view set. Go ahead and start from the bottom. Let's create the serializers that we need. This will be a bit boring. It will be all the same for every model. So as I did in models, I'll just explain a bit the first one, just copy paste and paste everything after that. So let's create a file called serializers.py. Okay. And then from REST framework, import serializers. Done. And now we need our models. So let's go ahead and make this, import all the models that we have because we need to do it. And now we need to create classes for each serializer. For example, here it's a serializer for the user model. So for example, let's go for a simple one. Let's see our models. So models, and maybe it's easier this view. Let's go for the resolution one. It's simple, just height and width, right? So what we need to do is create a class called resolution serializer or whatever you want. And it will receive serializers dot model serializer. There are other types of serializers, but we want to use the model. And then, as you see here, we use a class meta that will refer to our model and just refer the fields that you want to convert. So class meta, and then okay, our model will be resolution, and our fields will be height, so height and width, right? After that, you had your fields, right? So the serializer is done. So what you can see from here is that again everything is done like automatically, and sometimes you imagine that you have, okay, let's create another serializer. Imagine that you have, I don't know, the display. The display has a type, a size, and the resolution that we just created. So it has a foreign key. How can we do it? So it's almost the same thing. So it will be a class display serializer, right? The same thing, dot model serializer. And now you have to say that you have a field called resolution. So resolution is equal to what? Our resolution serializer that we just created here. And it receives some arguments, which is many. And it's not a relationship with many, you just have one, so it's false. And read only, it's true, because we don't want to change it on the RESTful API. But now it's the same thing. It's a class called meta, which you refer to the model that you want, which is the display. And you now have your fields. And then you just type, okay, what do you have in display? You have display type. You have size in inches. And you have your resolution. Resolution. And it's done. So this is, I'm searching if there are other types, but there are not. It's almost the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is just copy and paste everything and show you how it should be. Okay, what is different? So foreign key, like we saw. Every other thing is the same. And the smartphone is all foreign keys that we have. You might see the only thing that it's not a foreign key, it's the image. It's a picture, but you have it here. So it's like another field. It's a picture. So serializer converts models from database to some format, which in this case, and I think by default is JSON. I'm sure it's JSON, but this is the first time that I'm using this RESTful framework, so Django REST framework, but I bet change to XML. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can define the format here, but yeah, there are many formats available. I just prefer to use JSON. So we have serializers, right? So let's go back. Let's go back to our URLs, and now we need a view. Okay, we need a view. So let's go to our views. Let's go to our little tutorial that it's easier for me to explain you. And then we have this. So just like that, right? Just create a view on views. They are creating everything on the same, but we don't want that. Okay, so we have an index view, and let's see. This index is to nothing. So is to, okay, let's see, URL. So remember, comparator / nothing goes to index, and comparator / something goes to something. Yeah. So I'll say that we can delete this something, right? And we can replace it by, we don't need this. So we can delete this. This was just an example that I was making. So comparator.urls, and we can delete this. Okay. Okay. And now we can add a different view here. So let's create another one, which this will be a class because it will be a view set. So smartphone view set, right? And we need just to import view set. So from REST framework import view sets. Okay. And now we will receive viewSet dot read only model viewSet, because we won't be able to edit it. Model viewSet, it will be done through Django Admin. And now we already saw the query, so this endpoint will be used by the front end to list all smartphones. We will have two smartphone comparator, and it's something like this. We will list all smartphones through an endpoint, and then here it's something like this. In the drop down we'll list every smartphone, and user can select one and go over here, select the other one, and it's done. So we only need one endpoint for this. Okay, list all, query set, and what will be our query? It will be, we need to import models, of course, from .models import smartphone. Okay, it will be smartphone dot objects dot all. Okay, give me all you got. And then you just need to say what is the serializer class. So the serializer class will be our smartphone serializer, which is not imported here, but we can do it from serializers import smartphone serializer. No, we don't need this. Okay, we have our view set. Now we can refer to it in our serializers. In our URLs. We can register it as our view. And our view will be, we need to import views, which is we already did. So views dot done. So let's see if we haven't forgot anything. Oh yes, we forgot. We need to include this router to our URLs pattern, but there is a problem. From REST framework import routers. Unresolved routers. From REST framework import routers. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Okay, now we need to include those paths, and it will be like, okay, let's go. It will be slash. Let's go to admin, to the top level, slash comparator, slash. Maybe it makes sense to have slash API, right? Because this is an API, so slash API, slash. And now we won't refer to a function here. We will refer to this router. So include, which we need to import, include, and then routers dot URLs. Which is this one, slash smartphone. So slash comparator, slash API, slash smartphones will give what we want. Okay, makes sense, right? Will it work? You'll never know if we don't run it. So we have already updated, activated our environment. So Python manage run server. Let's see. Okay, we have problems. Pillow is not installed. Okay, it's weird. Okay, I don't know why that happened. Okay, we are running. So let's first of all do this. Okay, see, we have a media here, which, and this is important, this was created here. Sorry, here. This is a static URL. And then we have the comparator, of course. And inside the comparator, we have /API and the index, which are going now. So let's go to API. All right. So this is like a beautiful interface done by Django REST framework. But what we want is this URL. Let me just make a little bit of zoom in. And if I click here, how many, okay, let's go. How many smartphones do we have? 1 or 2, I'm not sure. So localhost, let's go to our admin first. And list our smartphones. We have just 1, okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, maybe we have a typo. Yes, we have a typo. We have typos on, I think on serializers. And it's in the width. Where we. So it's in dimensions. This is wrong here. Width. Let me search for this. It's only here. So yeah, it's a typo. No problem. No problem. So we have a typo. We fix the typo. I totally didn't need that. Let's go again. Okay. So this is great. So you have everything. Actually, if you want to see this cleaner, you can just do curl http localhost 8000 / comparator / API / smartphones. Wait. What? Why I'm not having the response? The heck? Oh, that's what I was searching for. I don't need the get. By default, it goes to the get. And now JQ to format it, and beautiful. We have everything here. JSON. I'm not sure if I type here XML, if it will work. No, you have to implement it by yourself, or you have to import it somewhere, but don't worry. So we have a list of objects, and this object is another object, key value, key value, key value. Okay, so let's see, our image is available, which is awesome, because we have those media / images. And if you see here again, this is /media / something. This is a regex. So we got everything on our RESTful API for now. And what is the next big step? It is on session 4. We will call this endpoint. It will retrieve all the information that we need, all the smartphones, and then use it as we want. So let me see if I'm not forgetting something, because this seemed a bit easy, right? This was pretty straightforward, but I don't think I'm missing something. Let me just check here in my notes if everything is okay. But apart from that, I think Django makes it really, really, really simple. Yeah, that's all. So we need to just call this endpoint, and everything will be done in our side. So in the next session, we won't be talking that much about Django. Even we may find some issues on our API, and we might need to fix them. But yeah, that's it. Next session it will be all HTML, CSS, jQuery, JavaScript all the way. Bootstrap as well. We will build a simple interface without having this without having problems about refreshing the page, because we are using Ajax requests. So stick there and stick with me to last session. I know that sometimes it's not easy to learn, but we are here building real products that you just might do something bigger with this. It might just not be with smartphones or as simple as this, but you can really create something that is valuable for anyone. So stick with me with last tutorial. It will be awesome, and you will finish this project. I will also provide you the GitHub so you can take a look at this and have an awesome day. Hello everyone, how are you, my friends? So this is session 4, the last session of our tutorial. I hope you liked to see previous videos, and we are just missing the front-end part, which is not that related with Django, but it's actually a bit. It uses Django templates, so it is a bit related. So stick around to see how this is gonna be like. And I don't promise you a beautiful interface, but I promise you a functional interface. So yeah, let's do it. Session 4, let's begin. So as you might notice, we have created our API, right? So if you let me and just run it and go to our API, let's see. Okay, so when we make this request, we get everything, the phones list. Right now we just have one phone, so yeah, that's it. So first of all, I know this is boring, but let's create another phone. Do you remember how you can do it? Let's go to Django Admin, and let's open a comparator right now and see a smartphone to compare against. So OnePlus Nord, why not? So let's just go ahead and try to create as fast as we can. If you don't want to see this, just skip it. So launch date, where is it? Actually, it's here, 2020. July 21. Status. So now we just copy and paste. Actually, where is the status? Oh, it's here. Coming soon. Name. It is OnePlus Nord. Brand OnePlus. Model Nord. Price in euros 499. Awesome. Save it. So now we can create the body as well. And let's go ahead and the weight in grams 184. The build is right this, and SIM card is a dual SIM. Okay, and the dimensions, we have to create a new one. So dimensions, I will put it in millimeters. We also could have a converter, but it will just complicate the process. So okay, dimensions, save. This is all saving, remember, this is all saving to our SQLite database. So if you want to use it in production, don't use it, just use another database like Postgres, SQL, or something like that, or MySQL. Resolution 180. Maybe this is okay. We can just use the other one, so we can reuse data. Platform, let's create a new one. So operating system is Android 10. This could also be maybe make some automatic process to do it. It could just or just import the CSV and with all the data, and you just don't need to do this manually. But that's how it is. We need to do it. There's nobody to do it for us. So yep. So card slot. No, this also could be a boolean here, the card slot, but sometimes it has some information, so we have it like that. And main camera. Okay. Features. I just skip those because nobody have time for that. And okay. Selfie camera. Okay, we need to create another one. 32 megapixels. It is a wide lens. The feature is HDR. Selfie camera with HDR. It's not bad, actually. This smartphone, the price is not that bad. It's really good, actually. Okay, 4K 60 FPS with a selfie camera. Not bad. Connectivity. Remember, what appears here is the string method. Is this method that it's appearing here. So you can choose whatever you want to show there. So connectivity, this is the longest one. So let's just go and make it fast. Yeah, it has GPS, Galileo. It's the European GPS. It has NFC. Oh, actually, no infrared port. Actually, I like infrared port to be able to communicate with TVs and ACs and radios and stuff like that. But we cannot have everything. So battery, where's the battery? Not bad. The size of it is not that bad. Yeah, it has fast charging. Of course it has. Okay, it's done. Now we need to download the photo. Save image as. We can save it on desktop. Save. Choose an image. OnePlus. Save. Okay, let's go ahead and update this image as well because it's a chocolate bar. Just to make more sense. Let's download actually, we can go here. And just grab the image from the site. Copy image, save image as, and just save it at Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Note 9 Pro. Okay, update, the image is updated, save, done. This is done. So remember, this is here. A feature that we could implement is remove the old image. No time for that, but it could have been done. Okay, now, first of all, we will use the comparator app to show the front end, right? So if you go to URLs, we already have a route for that, which is the index. So if you go to views, you have the index view, which is an hello world. So in this case, we want to use templates. Let's go ahead. If you don't know what are templates, it's really not easy to understand. Django templates. I think it uses mustache as the default one. I'm not really sure. Django HTML template. Okay. Basically, a template has placeholders, has some kind of logic to it, so it can makes easy with like variables and with for loops. Yeah, with variables, for loops, and logic to build your own interface. So in this case, imagine here it has a for loop. And it will iterate over story list, and it will create an H2 with an anchor, which is a link to that URL, and with that headline text in uppercase. This is a pipe. It's like the philosophy in Linux, where you have a command and then pipe it and transform it after that. You can pipe it again, and again. So this sometimes is useful and it's really powerful. We can also extend other HTML files, which we won't do, but it's possible. As I said, it has variables, filters, tags, else, ifs, else if, or elif. It has everything that we need for this. It's not mustache, sorry. It's just a lot like that. So if you know some of these, Smarty, I think it's for PHP. Yeah, it is. If you know Smarty or Jinja 2, which is for Python, you will be completely good for this. But if you are not, it should be easy for you. So first step, we need to create a static folder, because we need to serve static content like JavaScript, CSS. In this case, images come from here, but yeah. So let's create it, right? New folder or directory. It's called static. And then how this works. Actually, I don't really like how this works, but in order to static content to be detected, you have to create another directory that has the same name as your application. You have to do it. So yeah, comparator static again, comparator, and let's create two files. One index.js, right, for JavaScript code, and one style.css. That's done. And now we need also to, let's create everything that we need right now. We need to create a folder called templates. and this folder will have, again, it needs to have the comparator, so that this is default directory, it searches there. If you gave another name to your comparator, you need to, of course, change this. And now we can create our index.html. HTML. So far so good, right? Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. So let me see if there is a HTML. I thought, but head. So HTML is head and body. So body. In the head, usually you import stuff like CSS. You have the title in the head as well. Title, and the title is like the page title that appears on your tab. It can be education, ecosystem, smartphone comparator. No, okay, that's fine. And now we can load our static files. And before loading our static files, we need to have something to just show, say to Django template engine that you are loading static files. So you just type load static with %sign and brackets. And now you just have like, okay, this is a style sheet, okay? It's text. I don't think you can, you need to put type, but we can place it there. And now this is like, okay, this is, how's the word? Just fill together the static folder, which is static slash comparator slash, in this case it's static, it's comparator slash static, and then here just place comparator slash your file. I could also import here the index.js, but it's not a good practice to load it in the head, because sometimes those JavaScript files are really long. In this case it is not, but they are really long, and you want to load first the HTML body, and after that just download the JavaScript file, because sometimes you have lots of JavaScript files, and if you place it in the head, your page will take a lot too long, because it has to download first every resource and then just design your just draw your web page. In this case, if we do that in the end, because CSS affects how the site looks like, you need to load it in the beginning, but the JavaScript in the major situations does not affect how the page looks, but it might affect behavior. So we can for sure make it load in the end. So it's the same thing. In this case, it's not. It is not a link. It's a script tag. You can place here the source, which is the same thing. We can just copy this. Actually, we are missing here a %sign. Nice catch. It was just to see if you were paying attention. And we actually don't need this here. Script, another mistake, and now we need to say again, okay, we are loading our static content. Don't worry. Now we need to import JQuery. We need to import Ajax as well, and Bootstrap Select, which is a library that we will use for our select fields. So I will copy and paste this because this is just importing stuff. Actually, sometimes it's a good practice to load it from here, but if you want to be more secure, you can download all those JavaScript files and place them in your static folder here and just load it from your disk. But we are loading from CDN, which is also fine. More stuff. We also need to import in the end two CSS files, which are the Bootstrap. Again, Bootstrap has the CSS and the JavaScript, and we need to import the Bootstrap Select CSS as well. Usually the title goes in the end, so let's just keep this organized and make this here. Okay, now in the body we can just, to see if this is working, hello session for viewers. Oh man, come on. What? Viewers. Okay, how do we say to Django to use a template? This is actually easy. So you just go to your view, and instead of adding this hello world, just remove that, and you say, okay, I want to have a template that is, you can find it here. So loader dot get template, and after that you just say the path / index.html. It's relative to template, so comparator / index HTML. And after that you can return an HTTP response with template.render and pass the request object that you receive there. We also need to import loader, which we can import it manually because I don't have the IDE set, but the loader is from Django template import loader. Done. Okay, let's see if we go to our index, which is on comparator / nothing. So if you go here /comparator, we have errors. Context. I think the problem is because there is a way. Let me see the error again. I think we need to pass in the render. We can pass variables, which we don't want to right now. I think this is the problem as well. Yes. I will explain this a bit in the future, but this means that you can pass in a map variables that we actually will use this feature, but keep in mind that this is a map that is empty. So hello session 4 viewers. Let's see our network tab and let's see if we are grabbing our index.js and style CSS. We are. And they are not empty. What? This might be some caching. And our JS file, it's not here. Let's open this in private mode because this should be not empty. No, it's not, of course. Yeah, we are missing our JavaScript file, our index.js. Maybe we did something wrong. Let's do something like that. Hello world. This will make a pop-up. Yes, we are not importing it, and let's see why we are not importing it. Static comparator / index. Oh man, I'm so dumb. That's why you should use your network. Hello world, yeah, it worked. Great. We have everything that we need, so remove this. So, let's go ahead and, as you might see, we have here our title. I can remove can exit this and see index and style. This should be empty. I should do an hard refresh, hard reload, which I've already did. Clear browser cache. Okay. Okay, now it's empty. We just cleared the cache. Okay, so let's go ahead and just build our page skeleton. So this part is not particularly interesting, but I will create a nav, which is an HTML element that relates with Bootstrap, and it will be just a top bar. Yeah, that's it. So we define the link which refers to itself, and after that we just place the title and the button toggler, which I don't think actually we need it. Let's see. We don't. Great. So nav with a link which has this text. Awesome. So after that, so we might be asking, how should we present the features? And I think the best way to present them is with tables, plain old tables, because it's just the best way, right? This is a table, and the best way to present everything, like the features, is with a table. So let's go ahead and create a table. But before that, let's investigate how we can pass the smartphone information or the smartphone's information to our front end. As you might see, we spoke, as you remember, we have spoken about those variables. And you might wonder, it said that we could use it, and we actually can, and it's really, really simple. Since we want to return the list of all smartphones, we can just say, okay, smartphone, dot objects dot all. Are we importing smartphone? We are not. So from dot models import smartphone. Done. Oh, we were. Okay. So now here we have the smartphone list. So how can we pass it? It's easy. Create a context variable, which is a map, and you give a name to this. You can give it smartphone list. Why not? And this will be equal to this key will have a value of our list. Done. Here, instead of passing the empty map, we can pass a context. Okay. Now, if you go to your index.html, what happens if I do something like this? Let's place it in a H1. And do you know what will happen? If you think you know, pause the video and just think about it. Let's go. I bet you didn't go guess that. What did we do wrong? Let's go and see the errors. Invalid block tag on line 18, smartphones list. Did you forget to register or load this tag? Actually, I think I didn't. Smartphone. Yep, I did. This is a typo. It's smartphones. Right? Let's put it the same, but yeah, that's why. Now stop the video and let's guess what will happen. Come on, no. No, no, no. Now this is right. Okay. Let's check again. Let's first see if this is defined. We can do something like this. If this list is defined and we end it with endif, and inside, if it's defined, it will show an H1. It is defined. Let's see if this will work. Maybe it will complain. Oh, it is defined. Okay. So actually, if this is defined, we can iterate over it, right? So let's go and iterate over it. How can we do it? So we can do a for loop, which is basically, again, you always start with bracket percentage bracket, and you for it's the variable is a smartphone, right? In where? In our list. And now let's and our for loop, it's the same bracket, percentage bracket, and for. And inside, let's show the smartphone. Let's type an H6 and just do smart phone dot ID, for example, but this is a variable. So again, and you might know, oh, we don't have an ID because we didn't create it. Yes, but it was created on database. So and oh, no, it's not like that. Sorry. This is the logic that you place like that. The values you place like this. 2 brackets. Yeah, 2 brackets. Okay. And it's shown 1 and 2. So, those are the IDs, phone 1 and phone 2. If you go to our models, you can, let's see and print the name, for example, right? The name. How can we print the name? So if you go here, we can go to launch, and launch as a name. Maybe it will work. It did. Okay, so we now have a way to access our objects that we created on admin page. They were stored on database, and then we can access them from the RESTful API, which we are not calling right now, but we can get those from our template engine and just see everything. Awesome. Okay, so more stuff. So we can just select fields with this, like this. We can have a select field that lists our smartphones. Seems nice. So we will only be able to compare 2 phones. So let's stay with this, and just let's create a container. So container is a class from Bootstrap. It adds some border up and down, or in all sides, which sometimes is good to have. And then we create a row, which, as it says, is a row. And then we can create a column, which will have from small screenies and up 6 rows, 6 columns, or 6 parts. In Bootstrap, every row has 12, so we are dividing the screen in 2. And then we want another one for the other part of the screen. And now I will just copy and paste, but you will see what we did here. We just created a select field that has a title smartphone 1 and an ID smartphone 1 select, and we will see why we have it later. And we have the for loop, and we will create an option for each smartphone that has the value ID, the smartphone ID, and its ID is smartphone slash dash 1, which is select 1, and smartphone ID. And inside we show the name. Great. So we can remove this and we can do it for both sides. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Wait, we need to change this. Smartphone 2, we cannot have elements with same ID. Smartphone 2, ID, here is 2, and it's here. Okay, seems fine. I didn't think I forgot something. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, not bad, right? Now we could have some margin because it's so close to our nav bar. So let's create a style for this. So we can create a class called margin 20, which will have a margin of 20 pixels. Seems fine, right? So we can apply this class to our index.html and say, actually we can place it here with margin 20, and this column will have a margin of 20 pixels. Okay, let's it load. What? It was stuck. What the heck? And you might be wondering why this happened. Because we split screen in 6 or in 2. Each part has 6 parts. So when adding the margin, it doesn't have space to have both in the same row. So it just do that. One way of doing that, of solving that, is say margin top. This should solve the problem. So let's call it empty. Empty. Let's see if it does, if it solves the problem. Okay, great. So they are not that near from the screen, from the top bar. What can we do now? Now, when we click something, it should show every spec in here. And now, we will use our RESTful API. Remember that we are not using. And how can we do it? And why we are not doing? Because I'm trying to show you two ways of doing this. So this is loaded from template engine. Now we can fill our table with stuff that comes from the RESTful API. So for this we need JavaScript. So let's go. First of all, this is just to initialize the selects. We can see in the library. This is just a required to make selects available and working with no problems. So API base URL. Let's create the base URL which we created. It's API/smartphones, right? And now, when do you want to fill this? The table. When you click this select. So we can use JQuery for this. And in JQuery, we can use a selector, which is $. This selects an ID. This selects a class. And now you might see that we create the select with this ID and another one with that. So, okay, we want to say, okay, when something with this ID change, we want to call this function. So, if we alert change 1, and then we copy and paste this smartphone 2 and change 2, we should be able to see this. Let's see. When we change the JavaScript, always hard refresh. In the Mac is Command Shift R. In Windows is Shift F5. Okay. Change 1, great. Change 2, awesome. So this was called, and now what we need to do is call our API. But we need to know what was the ID of the phone that we just selected. But we can do, you can see here that the option that we clicked have a value smartphone ID. If we can access this value, we can know what was the ID that the user selected. So we can access this easily with var smart, let's wait a var first, smartphone ID, which will be this dot value, because this is referring to this option, because it was the option that was clicked. Great. What do we need to know more? We need to call our endpoint, right? So we can do $.ajax and it receives a map, okay? Bear that in mind. Map, which is URL. What is URL that you are trying to do? It's API base URL. And then, okay, let's see something first. Let's see something. Let's go to our API. /API /smartphones. What happens if we pass 1? Oh, it gets smartphone number 1. What happens if we pass 2? Oh, it gets the other one. Remember that we did not add this behavior, but it does it automatically. So we can get smartphones by ID. Awesome. So API base URL concatenates with smartphone ID. Actually, we are missing the slash. So it will stay API /smartphone / the ID that you selected. And you will make a request of type, guessed it, get. Awesome. More. We can have an on-call, a callback function. This is success. So if this gives success, we are telling JavaScript to call this anonymous function. And in case of error, you are telling JavaScript to call this function as well. And we can alert something went wrong. Okay, great. In case of success, we here can receive the response from the server. We can take a look what the response has, which you already know. It will be smartphone details. Let's see if we can see it. So don't forget. Okay, comparator. hard refresh, we did a console.log. This means that it will appear here, console, it will appear here. Okay, see, we have a JSON with everything. So we can just fill that out and use this to fill the table. So let's try to fill the table, to create a table for this. This part involves working with the DOM, which is the like the object that manages everything in the page. So one way that I did it was creating a table that will serve as a placeholder, and I won't create this table like manually. I created manually, but I won't be creating this in front of you. I will copy and paste and explain because it will take too much time and it will be just boring for you. Let me copy and paste from my prepared documents and let me show you. Okay, this is a placeholder. And our application is running. If you refresh, you might be waiting for it to show up, and it shows up. But it has a class hide, and it should be hidden, right? Because we don't want to show it right away. The idea is you have this table which is hidden, right? It is hidden, the user didn't see it. You will clone it when you request something. You will fill it with data, and after that you will clone it like to here, for example, to the end of the select, to here. And in the end you will show it to the user filled out. When the user selects another smartphone, you delete the table that you just inserted, clone the other again, this table again, which this table will never change. You will clone this again and paste it here. Got it? So let's create a class first of all. Call dot hide, which means that the visibility it's hidden. Hidden. So now it won't show up. Okay, let's take a look at the table. So it has the category. Let's remove this for now. It's easier to take a look. Well, so category, subcategory, specs, it's the header, and then we have the launch, the body, the display, blah 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 blah, and this is where our values will be. But they are not here. Why? Because those are placeholders, as I said, and every placeholder has a class that indicates which smartphone feature belongs here. And you will just, for example, the brand, you will just place here the value. For example, the weight is 160 grams. You place here 160, and when you go here, it will appear here, right? So, great. We need to change those. Awesome. How can we do it? First of all, let's hide it. It's hidden. And then let's write the logic for this. This will be a long function, and because there are lots of features and repetitive, but I will explain it. It will be easy to understand. Let's create a function to do it, because we will call it on smartphone 1 select and smartphone 2 select. So you can see, I don't know, smartphone, field search results, and what we want to receive. We want to receive 2 parameters. The JSON results, which will be the response from the API, and the index. The index will say if you want to place this on, if it was called from smartphone 1 select or smartphone 2 select. So we can actually place this here and response. Okay, following up, and here it will be 1. For, we can actually copy this for 2, and here it will be 2, because it needs to know where to add the table. Good. Now, in order to be, this is like a string, we need to make it an object. So results object, and we just need to call JQuery dot parse JSON. And here we can just place JSON dot stringify the JSON results. From here now you have the object. And now we can create vars, like, okay, var, I don't know, announced date will be the results object dot launch dot announce date. Let me copy paste. This is the hierarchy that we have on database. After that, we need to clone the table. So here we will get property by property. Get, oh, this is not Python. Get property by property. After that, we need to get to clone the table. So var table, we need to select it. Let's see. It is called specs div. So let's actually go over this, because here we have also an image tag that we need to fill it up. So specs div, so this is an ID, don't forget. So if it is an ID, you want the cardinal or the, I don't know how is it called, it's not hashtag. And just say, okay, I want to clone this element. And this element here will be, oh man, this element here, everything inside will be cloned to this var table. So far so good. And now we just need to find, so table dot, okay, find me an element inside this cloned stuff which has a class called announced date, and add an HTML to that is the announced date variable that we just had. The HTML, so if we find a class called announced date, we find this TD, and the HTML will fill this value here with the announced date. Okay. After that, we need to check where should we place it. If we place it here or here. Okay. What does that? That means that we need to use this index. So if index is equal to 1, we have to do something. Else we need to do another thing, and then we need to go to our specs div wait a second. Oh, sorry, this is not the table, this is our specs. div, sorry. And we need to create a table as well. So here we were making all of this. So now we want also a table, which is our specs table. And we are, our table will be our specs div dot children. So this will select all the children and filter by specs table. It's just an easier way to get our table and mess with and just change the values of it. So here we actually finding the same thing. And now in the end, we need to make this visible. So, and this is under specs div. So specs div dot remove class height. Okay, final part. If index is 1, let's create something here. We want to place it here, but it's simple to add a tag for this. So let's create a div with an ID, which is table placeholder 1, and with a class. We don't need a class for now. And now this is where we want to place our table. So okay, so select this. This is an ID, so $, ID, select this, and if there is anything there, remove it. For example, if a smartphone was already selected, and then after removed it, append the specs div that we just changed. Same thing, if it's not 1, it will be 2, so 2, 2. And here, you just need to create, we can just place it here, make it cleaner, and just copy and paste and place that part here with 2. Let's try it out. For now, it will just, oh, there is a typo. For now, it should only fill the announced date. Let's see if it works. A nice thing to do is check the console and see if there are JavaScript errors. There are not, it seems. And go to sources, to network, and find our JavaScript. Oh, the code is all here. Seems fine. Let's select here. Let's close this. Nothing happens. And we have a problem. JQuery is not defined yet. Okay. It is on line 40. Line 40, JQuery. Okay. Why is that? Because JQuery like that. Okay, let's try again. Boom. Announce the date. Done. What happens if we select North? Boom. Announce the date. Filled out. If we change here to North, it should replace the old table. Boom. Replaced. Right? It's the same information. So now we just need to do this for every spec. So I will spare this. This is just boring. This is just boring. So I will just do that for you, so you don't need to do it. But the only thing that it's different here is it's kind of different. It's filling this this image, and this image is product image. So we are just getting the picture from the object. which is this this one here. So API/smartphones 1. If you go here, we are just getting this URL and place it on the image tag, and just it will show up. Nothing fancy here. This is like not recent technology, but it works. I hope. Okay, it works. We have the smartphone image here. We might add some margins. We might add where is it? Here. We might add a class with our margin top 20. But now it's just styling. It's just styling. We should have a margin top right now. Okay, here a margin. We can center this image as well. Let's see where the image is. It's here. So image fluid margin. We do not have this class. We can create it. So, but you get the idea. So you really get the idea. I know you do. And now it's just a kind of personal taste, and that's it, guys. Yeah, let's just center the image to finish. So to center this, maybe it's better to create. Let's go. Center image. I don't know anything. So let's try to use this, because I'm not that fan of working with front-end technologies, and I don't know a lot of them, but let's create this this center, and in this image just add this center. Let's see what happens. I don't know if it will work, but if it doesn't, whatever. It's not my problem. Yeah, it worked. Okay, better, right? Just a nicer resolution image and it will work. Okay, we have a finished product. As you see, I hope you have learned stuff. I hope that you like to see those tutorials. This is not perfect. This is not perfect product, because as well you can select same and compare the same. Maybe you want to do it if you are stupid, but it doesn't make sense. But we can just have a function that verifies if you select this one plus nord, remove it from the other select. But this is not the point of this tutorial. Really, the point is not here. The point was to show you how Django works, how you can install different modules or different apps, how to use Django Admin, and how to use Django template engine and use the API that you just created. So you just did a finished product, which is not pretty, I assume, but it's functional. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the end of session 4. It was a bit longer than I was hoping for, but it was really complete. So everyone, I hope you are having a nice day or a nice evening, and I'm sure I will see you in another tutorial here at Education Ecosystem. So guys, no further, have a nice day, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.